Hey everybody, I am your host Elad. Today we are reporting to you from Boston at a pro-cop rally that is being protested by Black Lives Matters and Antifa. Important to note, the organizers for this rally are the same people who organized the street rally here in Boston that was also protested. Many people on this side are saying these people are white supremacists. And interesting to note, we actually did find at least a handful of actual Nazis on this side, on the pro-cop side. Let's go talk to some folks on both sides, see what's going on. Excuse me, is there any chance I can get an interview?
No, thank you. You should interview everyone.
What?
You should interview someone black, not someone who's a
I already have, but yo, white silence is violence. So, bro, is that the 40% of cops abuse their what? You have such a good sign, we're wearing a mask. Just give me a minute. Okay. Can I just get a good look at the sign? All right, so 40% of cops reported with it. Huh? I think the sign's, I mean, that's what I was saying, white silence is violence, and he doesn't.
Interview someone who is oppressed by the police state on a daily basis.
Are you not? You're not.
I'm a white upper middle class concerned citizen.
Yeah. Is there any chance I get an interview with you? Just quick? Come on, and police violence.
Fucking same as this kid. I'm here, but it's not my voice to speak.
Do you think that white silence is violence?
I do.
So,
yes.
I mean, how could you stay violent? Don't you want to get the message out to the media?
I think there's a lot of people here who'd be a lot better than I am at speaking.
But, I mean, people were telling me to talk to people of color, but...
What I will say, silence is violence, especially white silence is violence.
But I can't get an interview.
You can't get an interview, I'm sorry.
Damn. But that's a sign. That's a sign. This guy's the same guy who would complain when you talk about how 13% of the population commits like something like 50% of the crime. Same guy with this sign. Same guy. Look at the back of this guy's shirt. This guy's out here with a Nationalist Social Club shirt. Excuse me, is there any chance I get a quick interview?
Yeah, sure, Joe, good.
Yeah? Any of you gentlemen, quick interview?
No, we're good.
No? Okay. You're out at a protest. You guys don't want to talk? Have your voices heard?
We talked earlier.
Who'd you talk to? Okay, gentlemen. This guy got. That's tattoo. Bro, you don't even need to look too far. He's wearing a Nationalist Social Club shirt. I mean, the shirt.
I know.
There's no hiding it. There's no. Hey, excuse me, sir. Hey, is there any chance I get a quick interview?
Sorry, no.
Thank you. Because you got an interesting flag.
Yeah.
If at any point you change your mind, feel free.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Thanks, buddy. This is a literal... Excuse me, bro. Quick interview?
Make it very brief.
All right, cool. So we're out here today in front of the Boston State House. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you're out here today?
I'm a photographer and an artist born and raised in Boston, so I've been covering everything.
Okay, so I know in this event we have a few actual Nazis actually behind us. So as a black man who grew up in Boston, what do you make of participants like this in an event like this?
I mean, the whole idea of America, right, is being able to come out and stand for what you believe in. So I have no problem with people coming out here and saying what they believe in. I do believe ultimately it's detrimental to what we're trying to accomplish. And I think people are misguided and they're assuming that this side is about hate and trying to take another person down when it's really about love and trying to lift a particular community up. So I think it's unfortunate.
One last question for you. Right before this interview, there was a star saying we were doing the national anthem. You were taking a knee for the national anthem. Can you tell me why you were taking a knee?
I was taking a knee in solidarity with the protesters on the other side of the barrier. You know, I believe what they're out here for. I'm also out here for the same reason. So just to show them, you know, that I stand with them.
Do you stand with Black Lives Matters?
I stand with anybody who's out here fighting for the rights of the oppressed.
Was there anything else you wanted to mention?
No.
What'd you say?
No, sir.
Thank you so much for your time, bro. I appreciate it. Excuse me, bro. Excuse me, sir. Any chance I get a quick interview? I see you have a Nationalist Social Club shirt. Any chance I could get a quick interview, sir? No? You guys are out at a protest. You don't want to get your voices heard? Okay.
You can do what you want. It's a free world. They're not with us. We denounced them. We asked them to leave. We asked the police to ask them to leave. We can't get them to leave.
Who are these guys?
They're, I think, National Socialists. They call themselves a National Socialist Club instead of Nazis, but we're vehemently opposed to them, and we're pissed as hell that they're here.
Why do you think they're standing beside you guys?
Because they, like, I'm a real left-wing guy, but, like, wacky people eat it up. Like, you want to, like, people that are against looting or riots, you want to associate that with Nazis.
Yeah.
That's like there's a narrative, and that's the narrative you want to tell. That's why I think
These guys are calling you guys Nazis, and aren't they right? There's some Nazis here.
They would be wrong. They're not here. We don't want them here.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, there's a Nazi
Hey man, you're back with the white supremacists again.
They're physically standing
Hey,
there.
remember
but,
Trump's cock up in New
hey,
Hampshire?
this guy's talking to
Yeah.
you. Do you
I
mind?
understand.
Please back
It's a
up.
free country, right?
Yeah, it is a free country.
Did you talk to Chris Hood?
What do you want?
You can
Chris
talk
Hood
to
is
him.
openly
You can
promoting white
you
supremacy
can talk to
over
me.
there.
You can talk to him.
Okay.
But you
on.
can't do both.
Okay.
So you want to? I'll walk away.
Alright.
I'll walk away.
No,
All
no,
right,
no.
all right.
I wanted to ask you one final question.
So what I'm saying is, yeah, that there are a bunch of Nazis here against our will. Yeah, that's what the hell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, this side's cheering. This side's chanting against them.
Let me tell you something very fundamental.
Sure.
All right. We denounced them.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter. I'm against police brutality. They keep having protests, even though they know they turn into riots and looting. They know that.
Yeah.
It's a difference in our, like, we feel, holy shit, these clowns are with us. We're embarrassed. We're trying to, I didn't mean to hit you.
Yeah. No, but to be fair, they're chanting them out. Why aren't you guys calling these guys out vocally?
Oh, I think the plan is every speaker's to denounce them.
Can I see your sign? Yeah. So it says racism is born from capitalism and it thrives on racism. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you're out here, more about your sign?
Yeah, so this comes from a book that I read, Stand From the Beginning by Ibram Kendi, and this idea is like racism was born from capitalism because racism was invented to justify capturing people from Africa and using them as laborers against their will. And then capitalism thrives on racism, which we see over and over again as enslavement happened, and then always oppressing black people to have a cheap labor force, and then mass incarceration, which is very profitable to a lot of people. So we see different iterations of that over time. So that's
is this an implicitly pro-Marxist or pro-socialist sign right here? Because how can we get rid of the racism there, and what could replace capitalism?
Yeah, I don't really know about that. My vision of the future would be people in small farming communities, but I realize that's not the.
I know these people are calling themselves pro-cop. Do you think that's just some euphemism for something else? Because the other side's kind of calling them white supremacists.
Yeah, I think that the two often go hand in hand.
Is being pro-cop explicitly being racist or supporting white supremacy?
It's hard to say in each case, I guess, but I think that being pro-cop is having a very myopic view of things and not understanding the larger context in which cops have always been used to oppress people of color. So yeah.
I kind of wanted to follow up on that cop question. Maybe later. Can you move out of the way from the camera? I'm not interested.
I'm not interested in you interviewing on our side.
Okay, I'm not
interested in
thank you for your time.
Okay.
I don't care. Is there any chance I get an interview? You said sure? But do you mind being on camera?
I'm not organizing this.
Sure, no, but yeah. No, I mean, I know that we were talking a lot about white allies out here and somebody who's a person, not a person of color. Can you tell me what it means to be out here for you?
It means I want people to know that these people are in a minority who are Trump supporters, who have signs against lesbians and gays. I see them as being very narrow-minded and not representing who we are in Boston. So I want people to know that the majority of people in the Boston area value Black lives. Yep.
I know some of them are saying all lives matters. I want to ask you, what comes to mind when you hear somebody say all lives matters, or you see on social media somebody posting all lives matters? What comes to mind?
What comes to mind is people that don't understand the reality. My life is not in danger like African Americans' lives. It's a fact. I walk around, the privilege that I have, that I don't have to worry about, being shot or being hurt in the same way. So it's just a lack of understanding of the reality is what comes to mind.
We're out here today in Boston. I see you have a sign that says "Fuck off white supremacy." Can you tell me a little bit more about what's going on while you're out here?
It's ridiculous. It's just like something so simple like equality. It's just that everyone wants, and it's people want to argue against it. It's absurd. Like we're as a nation of a melting pot, and no matter what, when it comes down to it, we don't want to believe it, and it's true. And
what do you think are the white supremacist organizations that we need to do away with?
Oh, it's Super Happy Fun. I think it's like Super Happy Fun America.
These are the straight pride organizers,
Straight
right?
pride organizers. They all fucking suck, man. They're the worst. They really are. Honestly,
You're saying that they're pro-cop. So is it being pro-cops that makes them white supremacists, or is it the stuff in the past?
It's not just being the cause is it's a small thing, but it's everything. It's like what they stand for, and it's not. They're just using this as something to really show what they really mean, and it's like you can see it with the people that have all the Nazi stuff, and it breaks my heart. It's like how can people show so much hate towards such group of people?
Yeah. I know on that side we're hearing some sloganing of all lives matter. I wanted to ask you, when you see all lives matter, somebody say that or see a post like that on social media, what comes to your head?
It's the dumbest thing ever, because of course all lives matter, but all lives can't matter until every life matters. And that's the big thing. Until whites are just as much getting in trouble with the cost as everyone else, it's got to be equal. It's ridiculous.
I also wanted to ask, we're seeing some Antifa members here, we're seeing some flags of Antifa here. Do you think those people are good actors here, or how do you engage with those? What do you make of them?
I think they're here to support with everything else, and they have a right just like everyone else, and that's no one, even what our president's going to say, is going to change that.
Yeah. Do you support or condemn political violence, though? If anybody here were to throw punches first, what do you make of that?
I don't know. It's hard because it's everyone here. Everyone's around here for one point, and everyone's so angry about one thing, and it's justly right. It's rightly justified, and you really can't. It's hard because there are people that are here just to incite. Some people there just to incite violence, but other ones, it's if they're doing it, why can't we?
Yeah.
So
is the narrative here that there are multiple unarmed black men? There's an epidemic of unarmed black men being killed by police. Is that what we believe here? Is that what we're protesting against?
Well, they're here for when I was told it's the anti-Black Lives Matter, and seriously, of course we're all going to come here and support Black Lives Matter because that's really what the cause is, and it's sad that they can't see that.
Some people say Black Lives Matters is kind of a euphemism for Marxism or something like that. What do you make of that?
That's stupid. That's really stupid.
Yeah. I know the group, though, the official Black Lives Matters group, did say that they support Marxism as the only way to kind of do away with racism. So is there a difference kind of between the sloganeering of Black Lives Matters and the actual group?
Just because someone simply believes and they come out and believing simply the terms of Marxism doesn't make them communist or Marxist. They can simply believe in the ideas and not be it. That's something that's ridiculous. That just because you simply believe in something, they're you have to be that.
Last question, do you think Trump's a white supremacist?
Oh, 100%. He's a fucking piece of shit. Honestly, I shook his hand when he came to my school in 2016. And I went just to see this man speak because it was an opportunity, it was free. And the man gave the weakest handshake I've ever seen in my life.
That's what he prides himself on, too.
Dude, it was the loosest handshake. I honestly have gotten a better handshake from my 93-year-old grandmother with dementia.
Was there anything else you want to mention?
Honestly, fuck white supremacists. They're the piece of shit.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Any chance I can get an interview?
Sure. Elad Eliyahu.
Elad Eliyahu.
I've seen you online.
I make some good videos, I like to think.
Yes.
So let's talk. We're out here today in front of, what is this, the State House?
It is the State House.
Why are we out here today?
We're pushing back against the false narrative against the hardworking men and women of law enforcement.
Okay, I see many people to the side over here, across the street, the counter demonstrators. They greatly outnumber the amount of demonstrators you have on your side. What do you think that says, and why are they out here today?
Doesn't mean we're not on the wrong side of history here. These are people who are being disrespectful to the people who are out here protecting and serving us. They're pushing a false narrative. Statistics show police are not hunting down black men. Black Lives Matter is not a civil rights group. If they were, they'd be talking about black-on-black violence and the 20 million black people that have been killed in the abortion mills. But because they're a wholly owned subsidiary of the Democrat Party, they don't want to go there.
So why are so many people out here today?
Can I just add that some people were afraid to come because of the violence that these people have been doing, and some people that wanted to come today were afraid because of that. Because they're known for violence. They're known for violence. The news doesn't report. The news doesn't report the violent acts that they're doing, and they're defending them.
Let me ask you, what do you think when you hear Black Lives Matters?
I know that it's an organization that's not organic. It's been put together by elites to divide us, not to put us together.
Sure. Do you think there's any racism in police departments that needs addressing?
There's racism everywhere. It's just like anything else. There's going to be good and bad people in any organization, and you have to weed those out. But you can't lump, that's racist, that is prejudice, when you lump a whole group together and claim that that whole group is responsible for the actions of one or a few.
Absolutely. I had one last question for you. Are you familiar with the case of Breonna Taylor? Because that's a case that's brought up very often. It's where police used a no-knock warrant on a house where there wasn't even a criminal inside.
I'm not saying that nothing ever happens, like that's wrong, but that should be handled by the local governments, and they should be answering to who they're hiring, who they're not firing. Just like in the Floyd case, that officer had many offenses, and he shouldn't have been there. So this should fall on the locals where it occurs, and not on the whole, smear it all over everybody.
Does the George Floyd killing justify any of the protests, do you think?
Not the violence, not one bit of violence.
Does it justify the protests? Not the riots, but the protests.
There should be some changes, but like I said, they should address the local areas where this is happening. It shouldn't be smeared on everybody.
Would you march for George Floyd? Would you march for George Floyd?
I would march for a lot of people. He's just another one. And just like he said, blacks are killing blacks. Black babies are being murdered by the thousands.
Millions.
So yeah, I will march for all lives, all lives.
Absolutely. I want to pose that one last question to you two. Would you march for George Floyd, that wrongful killing that you thought?
I would support reform. I wouldn't necessarily march for George Floyd. He's no Martin Luther King, that's for sure.
Some people were talking to me on the other side and saying that people on this side say Black Lives Matters, but they only really care about black lives when police are taking them. They don't care about when black people are dying in other ways. Do you think there's any validity to that? And what do you think when you hear that from the opposing side?
So
that like usually it's like black people kill black people. That's what they usually say.
Yeah, I think it's just funny that the idea that Black Lives Matter is only around police brutality itself in general. I think the movement for Black Lives, it began as a response directly because of a police brutality incident, and that's how the Black Lives Matter movement as we know it began. But it encompasses every piece of social services, of every piece of human care. So when you say Black Lives Matter, people get really reactive to that because they think, a lot of people think you're saying Black Lives Matter more or Black Lives Matter only. No one said that. People said that Black Lives Matter, and that's not being recognized. It's not being recognized in the social services system for foster care. I work in foster care, and there was a young man who was 16 years old who was killed a week ago, who was killed in the system, not by police, but other people in a system that's set up to help him fail. It's not set up for him to be a successful, independent adult. And so I think that when you think about Black Lives Matter, is that in every aspect Black Lives Matter. Is that there's food access, there's food deserts around this country, and it's mostly in black and brown neighborhoods.
Not to mention things like prison reform. And
exactly, because prisons were a direct result of needing to have slavery in a legal way. So when you say that Black Lives Matter, it's not just that police are attacking black people, it's that the entire system is set up so that black people fail.
So we're out here today in front of the Massachusetts State House. I see you have a sign over here that says, "Make America Normal Again." Why are you out here today?
I just want to restore sanity in this country. I want everything to go back to the way it was. I want us to open our jobs back, open our businesses back, no more wearing face masks. Everyone can respectfully agree to disagree. No more looting, no more violence, just a more peaceful America.
Yeah. So as a person of color, what do you make of the Black Lives Matter movement? Because they say they're trying to fight for equality in the United States for black people.
By law, we do have equality in this country, I don't allow a few bad apples to spoil the whole bunch. Most cops do a good job, and a lot of black people actually want police in their community to protect and serve the good law-abiding citizens.
Yeah. Why do you think there's so many people protesting against you guys?
The media has lied to them and told them that this side is full of racists. No, we just want equality, we want peace, we want to restore sanity and not allow insane people like Antifa destroy this country.
Yeah, absolutely. They're saying there's some systematic racism from police against black people. I was talking to people on the other side. They think that black people are targeted by the police. Do you think that black people are targeted by the police at all?
The idea of systematic racism from the police is a lie. Police are not intentionally hunting down black people. They're only hunting down criminals regardless of skin color. So the police is not biased against African Americans. It just so happens to be that a lot of black people commit crimes, and those who commit crimes and break the law should be brought to justice.
I had one last question for you. We are seeing the tearing down of some statues. That's become a really controversial issue. I wanted to ask you specifically about Confederate statues. What do you make of Confederate statues being torn down? Do you think they should be torn down or be protected?
It depends on the specific history.
Confederate generals.
Yes, so some Confederate generals may have changed their views, but if some Confederate generals were extremely bad and did absolutely no good, then they should be torn down. However, Robert E. Lee, he did eventually turn into someone who was against slavery, and he did help to abolish slavery in this country, so his statue should not be torn down.
Absolutely. In conclusion, was there anything else you want to mention?
Not everyone on the right is racist, and there are black people who think for themselves. The Democrats are the party of racism, and they still are today.
Oh, they changed it. It's all Black Lives Matter now. You can put it there, it's fine. Yo, what a troll! What a troll! That's so good. That's so good.